an update and just answering questions. Let's start with the assertion statement commentary. Here we go. I don't know if you've explored this before, but I really like the simple logical explanation, the Electric Universe Thunderbolt channel. Similar ideas, but they can be far out and may have suspect origins. Do you think we had a cataclysm that people were able to remember and mark down in stone? That last part is, well, yeah, but we did most of it through oral traditions because we forget where we have our important places. I would love to see more examples if I understand the premise correctly. Sorry for the off topic. There was a comment from someone that I noticed is the exact same comment that was on literally the last video I watched. I think I understand why I got into an argument underneath with someone with multiple alts, but is it some sort of bot? Some people will just simply follow the same pattern you do, and then I also investigated that individual if anybody's curious. It's just some random YouTube channel that was going on the same search binge because we're kind of being nosed in and herded on YouTube by their stupid bot. Next, update to Mike from around the world. Declared a fraud in 2014 or earlier off of many websites. I'm also going to cover the Thunderbolts idea real quick here, but let's get Mike from around the world out of the way. But to be blunt, the Electric Universe Thunderbolts idea is simply a contrarian what-if thing about gravity not being as influential in the universe over distance compared to electrical charges. Electrical charges have a very finite distance, and it's very easy in a room, even in a vacuum room, to emulate the effects in space that show that electricity doesn't have the effects they're talking about. It's just that simple. I mean, it could, but you'd have to demonstrate it on some level. And the usual response is, well, everybody knows. No, we don't. Not everybody knows that you can test gravity in a room by using a very large torsion bar and some heavy masses to prove that gravity is based on how massive or dense something is. And more importantly, it's not density causing things to fall. It's just that heavy things have a gravimetric or gravitational field around them. I don't know if that's even the right wording. But anyway, Mike from around the world is a person who claims to be in the know in some sort of super secret government-run military thingamajig. People like these inside story things. That's nice. So anyway, after being on BP EARTHWATCH and Paul Bagley regularly, by about June 15th of 2014, he'd been caught faking a live stream. In the background, he played back a 2013 live link file of 2 Apache helicopters killing multiple Taliban insurgents near the Afghanistan and Pakistan border. It's played back in the background, and then he acted like he was inside this action, that it was hearable in the background. Somebody caught him doing this, several people actually, and posted videos commenting on it. Whoever he is or whatever he is, he's, I would consider him an independent source of bullshit. That one incident is the only one anybody can find correctly, and then everybody makes that mistake. Okay, I have to point this out. If you're part of a group of people that believes snow cones are sentient, let's just throw that together. I don't even know where they came from. I should write really bad novels. I'm very good at coming up with these twisted things. But let's say they did that. And then they found out snow cones are composed primarily of flavoring, shaved ice, and waffle cones. And instead of acknowledging that it's just waffle cones and shaved ice, which would mean their belief system can be tested in reality and therefore found to be flawed, what you find out from Mike or from around the world being declared a fraud by anybody is them invoking equally fraudulent assertions and the same, illogical bullshit. Basically, the logical fallacies they bring up are the same ones that are used. If your entire business model is being a bullshit artist, calling out another bullshit artist by pointing out that they're doing bullshit makes you look like a jealous bullshit artist. In this case, the jealous bullshit here is using religion as a way to avoid being critiqued on reality. Reality is the only basis we can work with, and even that's kind of we really don't know it perfectly, but we know a lot of it. And his assertions are that he says he is something, therefore you should respect that. That's like someone yelling at me at the top of their lungs that they're a Vietnam vet when they're 20. A 20-year-old kid yesterday told me that he is a Vietnam vet. He isn't. He might have been stationed in Vietnam somehow or something, but he's leaving out some details like he wasn't born yet. So, I mean, carry the two. Yeah, he wasn't born then. I've also had middle-aged men tell me they were Vietnam vets, but they couldn't tell me any normal detail. Well, that's secret. No, obviously it isn't. Virtually everything about the Vietnam War has become declassified. You're allowed to talk about it. Most people don't talk about it. Most vets I know do not invoke, I'm a vet, give me respect. You don't get that. And a lot of people lie about that. Every fucker I've ever dealt with that thought they were a badass claimed to be a Navy SEAL. And the fun part is watching them respond to someone I know personally who is a Navy SEAL and ask them, all right, and then just a simple set of maybe 2 or 3 questions later, you're not a Navy SEAL. And in the past, you could have them arrested for this. But when it comes to religious fanaticism, and more importantly, end-of-the-world scenario bullshit and conspiracy theory shit, and Paul Bagley and BP EARTHWATCH, the less credible you are, the more useful you are to them. Because it will immediately filter out anybody who takes you at face value and demands that you prove what you're saying. First thing to prove, if you're Mike from around the world, is why we should believe you. Well, I won't do that. You'll just have to believe me. Well, that immediately eliminates the argument. No credibility needed. And that's a very empowering thing for a liar. But Mike from around the world ran a website called the Council of Time. So the Council of Time fraud.info was put up with a very short set of assertions and a real simple thing proving that he had faked one audio recording. And then the person then went off on the only person you should listen to is Jesus and God and to hell with everybody else. And I've even had people tell me, I don't care if you're right, you're not Christian, so I will not listen to you. And then they went off and did exactly what they were going to do anyway. Just wanted to point that out. So let's do the Thunderbolts project because it's probably much more interesting. Although I'll mix these together in the title because I did both of these. But if anybody wants an update, all of the information, if you're curious about Mike from around the world, it's not that it was erased, it's that he's gone out of his way to make sure nothing about him can be confirmed, which means you can't debunk him saying anything because he effectively has said nothing. He says a lot of crap, thunder but it amounts to nothing. He has no merit. And that's a simple thing to say. You're refusing to provide proof that we should treat you with respect and find your words to be meritorious. We are permitted, if you won't supply any proof about something, to decide that you have not shown that we should believe you. But there's a specific group of people that thrive off of unconfirmed stories. They get off on it. We call them ordinary people, or maybe CNN. So anyway, let's get on with this. As for the Electric Universe Thunderbolts argumentum, 90% of what they do is trying to just disprove gravity for some bizarre reason. A lot of people are attracted to it. Some people do it because it makes them able to prop up something that they wish to believe that has been discredited by the realities of gravity. That's really about it. So anyway, that'll be about it, I guess. There's not much else to do. But anyway, the BP EARTHWATCH and the live leak thing, and Pakistani border faking and stuff, I'll include all the information. It's just a shit ton of links below. But to review, one's a source of bullshit and the other one's a subject that's made out of bullshit. And again, none of these groups of people, including that one individual I brought up, are proving what they're saying. They avoid it. Proof is for facts. Lack of proof is for truthers.